19th of April, Rabbi Levitt, Pele Yoetz.
Okay. So we have
This is
maybe
when,
looking up this in Sefer Daniel.
yeah, it looks like it's during the 3 weeks. It says 3 weeks of dates. I ate no desirable bread, nor did meat or wine enter my mouth, nor did I anoint myself to the completion of 3 weeks of days.
What page are we on?
392, top paragraph.
Thank you.
So what's 3 weeks of days?
So maybe he's talking about the weeks Bein Mitzrayim between Shivas and B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. Okay. So in other words, we find that we find this Indian, this matter of not eating, to atone for sin. So that would be the point of Daniel not eating during the 3 weeks. In fact, it's talking about the Bein Mitzrayim as an atonement for the Korban Abayis, destruction of the temple, and the other tragedies that befell the Jewish people during that time of year. Okay. Oh, in other words, it's not saying that Daniel didn't eat anything. He didn't do a fast of not eating anything. It says that that he just didn't eat lechem chamudos. He didn't drink wine. He didn't eat meat during that time. And later on, in that parsha over there on Pasuk Yud Beis, verse 12, the Pele Yoetz quotes that he said, from the day that you set your heart to fast. So what does it mean that he set his heart to fast? He didn't fast. He just didn't eat nice bread and meat and wine. But he did eat. No, so we see that is regarded as a form of fasting, in the sense that it's a fast that provides a kapora for hatoim and averos. So we see that this is considered a fast, and then the Pele Yoetz extends it even a little step further, in this same sense, every way, not just by withholding from food, but every person can think for himself. Every way in which a person diminishes from his pleasures of this world for the atonement of his sins will be considered to be a fast. So that's an expanded definition of the word fast. What does it mean? Okay, now we go to the next paragraph on page 392 at a cursory glance, and we're still waiting for Dad to come in. He's still connecting to the audio. Maybe I'll give him a call.
Probably something wrong with his internet.
Yeah.
Maybe you should try again. Go out and come in again.
Oh, you're right.
That might help, or it might not. We might get lost completely.
Yeah, I agree. Probably worth a try.
Oh, he's not answering now. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we got up to at a cursory glance, middle paragraph on page 92. We go to Roy to continue the reading, please.
At a cursory glance, it would seem that it is better for a person to just eat bread than to
Yes,
fast.
Alan. Good morning. You're trying to get in. Oh. Okay, I didn't see. Okay. I just actually saw that you entered the meeting, so I clicked by that, and that's how I got in today, actually. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay. Very good. Bye-bye. Okay. Alan's at the doctor, just with an introductory appointment, whatever, and he sent me a note, but I didn't see it. But in any case, he set himself up over here. So, but doesn't this mean that he's trying to get in? Doesn't mean that?
That's what I think it means. The little dots that are bouncing around mean it's in the process of connecting, I believe.
Uh-huh. Okay.
All right. At a cursory glance, it would seem that it is better for a person to just eat bread than to fast. When he eats bread, he fulfills a positive Torah mitzvah of saying grace after meals and several rabbinic mitzvahs as well. Yet by a fast, there is no mitzvah, whether from the Torah or the sages. However, since we found many holy men in the land who fasted days and also nights, it must be because they certainly knew that the secret of a fast is great and it produces fruit. Above more than the mitzvahs that one fulfills by eating, nonetheless, people who are weak or those who are engaged in the work of heaven, let them afflict their souls without causing a loss of physical strength, as has been mentioned, or let them voluntarily endure light suffering, for example, the wearing of sackcloth, lashes, bites of fleas or mosquitoes, etc. Everything accrues to a large account to eliminate wrongdoing and eradicate sin. For things like this, a person will not have an excuse that he did not have the strength, because there are practices that do not cause a loss of vitality. Similarly, a person should be from those who are insulted but do not insult back, one who rejoices in suffering, and one who is tolerant of others' mistreatment of him. These and other similar things are very powerful in bringing atonement, as we wrote in the entry Segula. These things cut the legs of those people who do not fast with the excuse that they do not have sufficient endurance. What will they answer on the day of judgment for not doing these other things? This sounds very non-Jewish. All this self-castigation and bringing upon oneself all these afflictions.
Oh, it sounds non-Jewish, you're saying?
Yes, it sounds more like other religions that revel in bringing these things upon you, lashing you and fasting and all that sort of thing.
But the Pele Yoetz is saying it's not a non-Jewish thing.
He's not saying that. He's advocating it.
Yeah. So
It sounds medieval. Sounds like a medieval to me anyway. Must be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm right. But maybe I'm sort of right. I'm sort of wrong.
Well, one can ask, why don't we do it today? I don't think people do these kind of things today.
Yeah. That's so why is it that we don't do this today? It's not something that's encouraged. At least publicly, we don't hear such things. But to actually, this idea of I remember actually from Reb Zatzal. He used to. I think this last year, a few months ago, was his 10th Yoetz. He used to speak about eating, and he would say that this is what one should do. He wasn't necessarily talking about it in terms of atoning for sin, but he was talking about it as a device to make one more muhshar, more prepared to be involved in Avodas Hashem, and to less be involved in matters of seeking enjoyment in this world, which he would say the overwhelming majority of the world is basically doing only that, and not being osek in Avodas Hashem. So what he would tell us is he would say, take your plate and put everything that you want on the plate. And I don't care how much you put on the plate, but after you finish that, what's on the plate, you don't take another plate full. And everybody said, what? That's all? He said, try that. And he said, what about the fast of the Levitt? He said, no, I'm not suggesting the fast of the Levitt to remove yourself from food that you do have on the plate and you do like to eat it because it does taste good. I'm not asking that much. I'm just asking to not fill it up a second time. So why did he do that? He did that because if he would tell people to do the fast of the Levitt, they wouldn't do anything altogether. So, I'm not going to do that. But like this, people were asking him, that's all you want us to do? And he said, yeah, that's all I want you to do. And like that, maybe there'll be somebody that does it.
But even more so than that, I think the wisdom of today is to discourage people from this kind of thing. And my raya for that is that many years ago, before I had diabetes, when I was still fasting for the regular fasts, I had a really terrible dream, and I woke up and I was very distraught because of this dream. And so I went to my Rabbi Goldberg, Slita, and I said, I had this really terrible dream and I'm wondering if I should fast. And so he had me tell him the dream, and he interpreted it for the good. He said, no, you don't have to, you shouldn't fast. It's not really a bad dream. It's really a good dream. So I think he was following the wisdom of his teachers, which was that he was discouraging me from taking on that fast. And in that case, I definitely would have done it. I mean, I went to him saying, I will do the fast. If you say so, I will do the fast.
Yeah. Yeah, there you could find in certain Sidurim, maybe even in art school. I don't know.
Yeah,
That there,
it did in the art scroll, in the
Yeah.
school one anyway. And some editions it isn't.
yeah, yeah. You'll
Yeah,
find
that
this.
was, I think that was why I went to him, because I had read that.
Yeah, yeah. So okay. Every person has to know himself. He has to know what will improve, what will benefit his avodas Hashem, and it could be that there are things that were done, that are done, that are optional, but a person feels he maybe he wants to do that, maybe he wants to fast, and but he doesn't think that it'll bother his avodas Hashem. He won't be able to learn properly. He'll have a headache. He'll just have to sleep. He won't be able to accomplish anything. So he'll find another way to atone for his sins and to get himself to focus on doing Torah and mitzvahs as opposed to other things. So everybody has to figure out what is going to do that. So the Pele Yoetz is saying over here, this method over here is Baruch Menusa, tested and by generations of righteous Jews, and so that's his eights over here.
I think there may be another factor, which I have heard it said in different contexts, and I don't remember the source, but I've heard it said that nowadays we are weaker than we used to be, and for that reason, some of the things that people used to do we don't do because of that weakness.
Yeah, the main thing though that we have to do though is we do have to figure out some way to achieve atonement for sin. So Pele Yoetz is suggesting this as a method. So if a person doesn't want to do this, he doesn't think that it'll be beneficial for him. The expense outweighs the benefit. So, but nevertheless, the issue still remains.
What about putting in much more effort into tshuva, into saying tachanun, and
okay, yeah, good, right?
And what was I going to say? I've forgotten what else I was going to suggest. Yes, and much more effort into in the not the Shema, in Shemona Esrei, when we sort of when we meet our church,
Right.
put more effort into understanding what we're doing there. I'm sure that. I don't know. Well, I'm saying it. I'm sure that if we do that, that's going to be more than enough. But still, and we could put more effort into acknowledging Hashem these sorts of things will probably
Okay. Right. Right. In other words, that's what we were saying. That, in other words, what does it mean to atone for sin? Atone for sin means that what's the problem with the sin? There's a couple problems. One problem is that he has a sin on his record. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is that as a result of the fact that he has that sin on his record, there's a barrier between him and Hashem. He's when a person does a sin, he removes himself from Hashem. He becomes further away. So anything that a person does in order to so in order to get close to Hashem, there's two ways to do it. You could remove the barrier, or you could jump over it. So the fasting is removing the barrier. It's atoning for the sin. The sin is what creates the barrier. The other way is to jump over the barrier, and thereby advance and get close to Hashem, which is the main object, is to get close to Hashem. So we could say that the tshuva, that's what tshuva is. Any form of tshuva is doing things which bring one closer to Hashem. That's the ultimate destination that we want to get to. Why we want the barrier of sin should be removed, to be able to get closer to Hashem and not be removed and distanced.
I would imagine that the jumping over the barrier idea is more powerful than the removing of the barrier, in that the barrier is there and it puts something between you and Hashem, and you and your sin is on that side of the barrier together. So if you jump over the barrier, you leave the sin behind, and it's all by itself. It can't do any harm because the barrier is there, and you've jumped over, and now you're with Hashem, but the barrier has stopped the sin from following you. If you remove the barrier, then you've still got the sin with you. You've got to do something about that.
Well, when you atone for this, when you fast, you're atoning for the sin.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, in a certain sense, to jump over the barrier is a bit deceptive. Even if you jump over the barrier, but there's still a barrier there. There's still something there. The sin is still there. How is the sin being removed? The person who is truly close to Hashem, he doesn't want to have on his record that is part of his life, that he has these sins that he's sinned against Hashem. He would wish very much to try to remove them.
You're like water to a plant. You're like water to the sin. If you remove the water from the sin will die.
Well, maybe that's what happens to the plants, but sins are stronger than that. They don't die because they don't go away just because they don't have water. We have to figure out some way to remove them from the record. That's what we want to do.
All right.
So
do both. remove the barrier, jump over the barrier, and then remove it, or remove the barrier and jump over where it was. I don't know. All right.
And okay, and I mean the other thing is that really that the fact that the barrier is there makes it very difficult to jump over it. It's not so simple to jump over a barrier. The easier way is to remove it, and then you could pass over, pass to get close.
Yeah.
So the sins are to keep a person back. You'd like to be able to. This is the whole accomplishment of Yom Kippur. That Yom Kippur expunges the sins, and we now have a clean slate. And we don't realize it, because we don't feel it, we don't see it. But this is what keeps us going. That every year we clean ourselves up, hopefully, and we get a clean slate, and then with that clean slate, it gives us the koach to continue and get close. Okay, I see it's 11:34.
Okay.
Roy's already put away his safer, and now
Yes.
we're going to say goodbye to
Give me the
Mayor.
hoot.
Okay. Have a good day, everybody.
Okay, see
All the
you.
best.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.